How the fuck are we doing, Blair?
Doing pretty good, Cody. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right, man. You know what? I actually been... You want to know what pisses me off, Blair? And I know you'll understand this, being a guy.
Yeah.
You listen to motherfucker... Like, you have girlfriends, right?
Right.
Females that are friends.
Yeah.
And they come up to you with all these problems, right?
Yeah.
This guy treated me this way. This guy treated me this way. And then guys like us are just sitting around like, I wonder where all these good guys are at.
Right.
Like, what happened?
Right.
And we're just like trying to fucking... It's hard not to get frustrated in a situation like that.
Where do you think that stems from?
Like them going after those types of men?
Well, more so... I mean, I kind of understand that because that's very media influenced.
Mm-hmm.
It's... That's kind of a given.
Not just that, but it was the birth control pill. Because before then... Women just were, their bodies had babies. Mm-hmm. You can't go and fuck around like they do now.
Right, that's very
Now
true.
It gave them the option to, hey, we can do all this shit and be like us. Because from a male perspective, what's different from us versus females is even if they don't have kids, their entire lives, their body can create a baby. Like ours can't do that.
That's true.
So everything for us is just independent. We're by ourselves. We don't have to think really, like we do think about other people, but we don't have to think about them like, oh shit, this matters a lot. But when we have a kid, I heard the brain changes and that opens up and shit.
What I mean more so is like, where do you think the male sense of like what they're doing nowadays, kids our age, are completely... I feel like, I don't know if it's based on... Yeah, sure. I don't know if it's based on like how they were raised or...
You're talking about from the men perspective?
Yeah, from the men's perspective. Like, those dudes that the women are complaining about, how the fuck... Because you and I probably think on a similar level when it comes to a relationship. On you do your best for the woman, try to help as much as you can.
I just realized that, I won't lie, because I've been thinking about it, because I'm like, well, what the fuck? What, like, I don't want to look at myself as I'm going to be the best option for this woman. Like, oh, I'm the greatest option out there. No, I'm not perfect either. I got plenty of issues, but that's what I thought. I'm like, what is it then? Oh, you just try your fucking best.
Yeah, being the best version of yourself.
Exactly.
Trying communication, shit like that. But I feel like you lose a lot of that in today's society. And I don't know if that's media influenced or if that's just...
You lose trying your best?
Yeah. Well, in the relationship sense.
You think from a men's perspective? Is that what you're saying?
It's the men who are losing that aspect. So the people that the women are complaining about, those people are who I'm talking about.
They're losing the ability to try their best.
Right. They're losing the ability to try in their relationship. They're not caring. They're fucking off and cheating XYZ. Where does that come from? I feel like it's more accepted now than it was back
I see
then.
what you're saying.
Like, you look at older couples, those people have been together for 10 plus years, some of them since high school. There isn't a relationship like that nowadays. I maybe know one or two people who are still together since high school.
Yeah.
Like,
which is awesome to see. Like, it's kind of fucked up to say, but like a lot of them in my brain, I'm like, you hear about them breaking up or something, even if it's like a long ass relationship, like 7 years, you're like, oh, knew it was gonna happen, which is kind of fucked up to think.
Right.
But, yeah, but I see what you're trying to ask me. I'm trying to think because I don't want to sound sexist. Because in my head, I've got an idea of how it was in the past. But I don't know where... Social media probably threw us all off the rails. Because there's a lot of shit we're seeing that we just wouldn't see in the past. But I think... Because I like to go back to a hunter-gatherer's perspective. Because that's where our biology comes from.
okay.
So if you think about back then, most of the time... Or I guess that's way too far. I guess I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is, from what I've heard, I don't know if this is exactly true, but I think it is. Women pick, like, basically, so we're here to hunt, to fucking protect our family, and to fucking procreate. That's about all men are here for.
Fair.
So women, while we're out hunting, doing all that shit, they're back at the fucking civilization. They're taking care of the kids, the elderly. They're all fucking talking to each other. That's the community. So
Sure.
men kind of weren't even part of the community.
Right.
We were kind of out doing our own shit all the time. So women were kind of selecting for a mate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we got here. Like a strong. If you look at chimps, like it's the strong, usually the biggest strong. Well, I guess that's not true.
Lion packs are probably a better analogy.
Yep,
the women stay back while the men go out and hunt.
Yep.
I think is how that's set up.
No, I actually think it's the opposite.
I think you might be right on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the women
confusing.
who go out. Yeah.
Because chimps, I was going to say, but I just learned that chimps, it's not just the biggest and baddest chimp that's always the lead. It's some that form bonds with people or with other chimps, and then those bonds of chimps go and take over. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so in a lot of the ways, women. Here's my idea. I don't know if it's going to be right or wrong or sound fucked up, but I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Women choose what the men are going to look like. We are fucking dumb. We'll fuck anything that moves, right?
Fair.
Like, oh, the fucking chair's looking at me. Yeah, we're fucking horn dogs, dude. So I think that women, they've always been the more sophisticated, because if we're physically strong, and I think nature finds a way to balance things out. So
right.
if we're physically strong, they have to be mentally strong. Because they're raising kids, they're fucking teaching human beings how to become like, it's obviously co-parented now, but
right.
It used to be mostly the mother doing that job, and she has to fucking build that social structure. So she builds that up through her children and through communicating with the other mothers and stuff. But so they pick, oh, this guy's smart, and like even now, actually, I think that's what happened. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably financials, dude. Because back in the day, it was wealth that it's always been wealth, I should say. It used to be physical strength was wealth, right? Or mental strength became wealth. But now it's money, and that's what women tend to gravitate towards now. Because even men like us, we're good guys. I think we are. We try to be.
Yeah.
We do our best. I'm sure we're pretty fucked up in some ways, but
everybody is in their own special way.
Yeah, but because we don't have a lot of money, like imagine if we had millions of dollars right now. You know, a woman wouldn't be a problem, probably. Because it's just...
No, we wouldn't be here, though.
No. Humans gravitate towards it. Especially if we were, like, on a yacht or some shit. Like,
right.
Obviously, we're going to have some women on there. Because
right.
they're going to want to be there, too. Why wouldn't you want to be? I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that women choose it. And now that they've become more like us, to where they're more promiscuous and stuff. And, like, they don't really have to settle down. Because they're not thinking about the fear of getting pregnant. Which I'm not saying they should. I don't know how we're going to fix this. But
yeah,
I think that's what happens is you have more time to pick more people. And I feel like we get conflicted with age a lot, to be honest. Because you look at, like, a lot of older people try to talk down to us. And, like, we're stupid or we don't know things.
That's fair. It's a whole new day and age.
That's fair.
That's a lot. That's a big... I think not misconception, different orientation, if that makes sense. So like tattoos, for instance. My grandma fucking hates my tattoos.
Mine too.
But it's something that's very much accepted in today's reality. And she's like, oh, you won't get a job, you won't do this, you won't get that, XYZ. And all of those things have happened. And I've said this and very much explained that, like, it's not like that anymore, and it needs to be more accepted by that generation still. And there are still, like, some employers that don't because it is looked bad on by certain clientele. And, but I also feel like that also brings clientele from our generation.
I think in ways that... we get stuck in time. I don't think like generations like that are ever gonna change. That's why like they're like old people are talked about as bitter or some shit because they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah, everybody will be in the ways that they were raised. And
yes.
I feel like the next generation tries to be influenced so much by the previous, and it ends up being more confliction than anything else. So like your parents tried to raise you a certain way. You retained some of those values, but you also became yourself within our own generation. Some of that is probably looked down on by either the previous generation or the previous generation to that.
For sure.
That's just kind of a natural thing.
Oh yeah, that's just innovation.
Yeah.
It's because when we're born, like we don't know as much and we don't have. That's why I love, like, you see me posting my nieces and nephews and I hang out with my sister's dogs and my dad's dogs all the time. I like people, like kids and animals over like adult humans because of that reason. They come in and it's just fresh for them every day. Yeah. Like, and that's part of why young people are so valuable is, no, we're not as smart as the next generation or the generation ahead of us. We don't have as much experience, but we see things through a fresh set of eyes.
Right.
And that's why they should be helping us to give us the information, the proper information and knowledge. Because a lot of them want us, like if you remember how it is in like school and shit, a lot of them just want us to see how they see. Like teachers just want us to see how they see. And when that's not how it goes.
So, question to that. How much do you feel like of those people are influenced in the wrong direction due to media?
Probably all of us.
Yeah.
Probably all of us.
And how does that, like, then can we really go to those people for advice? If they're influenced already the wrong way, is their opinion valuable?
Welcome to my fucking mind, Blair. Okay, I don't know if I've told you this, but I've listened to Dr. Gamor Mate a lot, and he's an expert on trauma. And what he said to me one time, or not to me, but he said one time when I was listening to him, that there's two things that happens to a child's brain when they're not seen or heard, which is basically, that's what his definition of trauma is. You're not seen or heard.
Fair.
It's not, oh, you got fucked up here. No, it's just you don't feel seen or heard in some way as a child. That's trauma. What happens, the first one, this is what most people do, is they think something's wrong with themselves. And so you try to suppress aspects of yourself. Like, you remember how, like, in puberty and shit, you're trying to look cool for everybody, trying to look cool for your friends. So you start, oh, I'm weird here. I better fucking push this down and stop doing that. And then, oh, they want me to do that, so I better do that more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what most people do, is they think there's something wrong with themselves, so they try to push themselves down. I did the opposite, which is uncommon, and I didn't know this, but you think there's something wrong with everybody else. Like, and that's how I felt as a kid. I'm like, these motherfuckers are retarded. That's why I acted the way I did, you remember, because I thought everybody else was fucking stupid.
Right.
And I didn't know why. I thought I was the king of the world. But
looking at it, like, not to interrupt you, but looking at it back now, most of those people were. Mm-hmm. It wasn't, we were thinking wrong. Like, most of those motherfuckers were retarded.
No, and that's the thing, is that, what were we talking about before that? We were talking about, So, that's how I grew up, was thinking everybody else was wrong, and I'm right. Mm-hmm. And now, through like experience and knowledge, I've learned that, because that's why I hit a wave of depression, and it wasn't very long, and I got out of it fairly quickly, because I've always had this, it's kind of like a protective barrier against depression, because I just like, oh, nope, I fucked up, so does everybody else, oh well. But when I got stuck in it for like a year, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then I realized, oh, I'm not less than or above anybody, I'm just like everybody. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's the problem is, we think that we know more, and that we have a better path, and we shouldn't take their advice. But the thing is, they still have more experience and knowledge than us, even if it's bad knowledge. Like, there's this guy named Mark, dude, at work, and this dude, I learned a lot from him, even though he's fucking stupid, and he's not trying to teach me. He's fucking Democrat, dude. He has a Harris Walls sign in he's full on blue no matter who, but this motherfucker, every day when I hear him, he's fucking mad about something, and usually he's trying to fucking, like, he'll fucking dog on everybody else and look at everybody else as the problem, and rather than looking at himself. And like one day he walks into work and I'm next to him, he's like, look at all these fucking losers. And I'm like, Mark, you work here too, what the fuck? Yeah, and that's like, you learn from him, oh, this is a way not to be. Like, even though he's not trying to actively teach you, you can learn from him. And then there's people where they're a lot more receptive to talking, and you actually, like, give you actual wisdom and knowledge that you can utilize. Right. You know what I'm saying? And those people are beneficial as well.
I think on that, too, like, there's a lot of people whose receptors are over the top, too, so they're retaining the wrong information, as well as, like, some of the right. But if they're surrounded by more of the wrong, they're going to be following that category of
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong. It's just the fact that our brain wants us to be as comfortable as possible and make things as simple as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
negative.
No, I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I try not to look at things as right or wrong just because, like, fentanyl. Is that right or wrong? It's fucking pharmaceutical drug, but it's also a street drug now, and it's killing a bunch of people. We don't know.
Sure.
A lot of things are like that, and our brain likes to put things in categories. But I don't know. Like, the way I look at it, like, and sometimes I do revert back into that state. Mm-hmm. Some days where I'm like on one, and I woke up fucked up. I start looking at everybody as stupid again. But most of the time, I try to look at it as, oh, we're just all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why I like to look at it as a hunter-gatherer perspective, like how our biology formed. Because we're only like 2 million years separated from a chimp, dude. Fair. That's not that long. And you watch a chimp, dude, they're fucking tearing monkeys apart, dude. They're monsters. Yeah. That's basically what we are. We're a fucking... And, bro, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when I first started taking mushrooms, there was a few trips where I would sit on the toilet, dude, because I would go to piss, and, like, when you're on that, your body feels loose and shit, so you don't really want to, like... You're basically all your mind. Yeah. You don't want to move your body. You're like thinking for, like, 6 hours. Yeah. And so I would sit down and piss, and I would sit there for, like, 40 minutes, dude, like an hour, just laughing to myself like a psycho, like, ha, 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 because I knew my entire life we came from monkeys, right? Okay. But... like, nobody acts like that, or we never talk about it. Like, hey, you know how we came from monkeys? Nobody's talking about it. We're playing human is basically in my brain. So they made me fully realize, oh, we're still fucking monkeys. We're just playing a human now. So, you know what I'm saying?
What about you remember, I think it was John Adams, Mr. Dannon, the fucking science teacher. Mm-hmm. You remember his unit on... like,
is that Mrs. Dannon's
husband? Yeah. So he had that whole unit over monkeys and biology and shit like that. There was a whole uproar from the Christian group that, like, it was basically a fucking debate class when he was in there. Mm-hmm. Do you think
all those strong ass Christian kids that we used to go to school with? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Yep. And, like...
that's why I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's why I really respected Lucas Benitez. Yeah. Because he was one of my, like, giant role models in school, because that motherfucker's a good dude. He's a Christian, but he doesn't push it on anybody.
Same with Sawyer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes. That group of people was, like, one of my favorite groups of people in school, just because they were so nice.
Like, they didn't force it.
That's what I like. Is
talk about it. It was there. Like,
and he let me challenge his ideas, and, like, we would talk about it. Yeah, it's awesome.
But it was like, it makes me wonder if we add on to those classes with those type of perspectives, like, can we sway one way or another? Like,
figure out, like, the deep truth, what's actually true.
Not saying that there isn't a Christ, because, I mean, I've experienced some wonderful miracles in my life that I cannot explain. Mm-hmm. And however that works,
you're just like, fuck, whatever's out there.
Yeah. I will never know. And I won't label it as God or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely something.
I like to call it the goddess or the invisible spirit.
Hell yeah.
But just because, like, if you think about it, we put a male, like, stereotype on God. Yeah. But if anything's going to be a creator, it's a woman, because Mother Nature, the mom, everybody, every animal, every human came from a mother. And so I look at it as the goddess, as a feminine energy, but I don't think it has a gender. Yeah. It's beyond us. It has no gender. So I just look at it as like an invisible spirit or some shit.
I think of angels as like people watching over you, your spirits or whatever. Mm-hmm. And those are both guys and girls. People that passed in your life, and those people looking over you.
That's what I like to look at all this. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. But that's what I like to look at all this trans shit as, and age is just a number shit. Yeah. Is I think our souls are trying to fucking come out physically. Yeah. So we're starting to mutilate ourselves and fucking. We forgot we were of the spirit, I think.
Okay. Interesting.
Fuck, what were you saying before that? You were saying shit.
I get deep into thought and I lose the back thoughts, bro.
No, because I had something.
We were talking mushrooms and school.
Yeah, school.
Being taught.
Yes. So
Monkeys and whatnot.
I think that it all needs to merge together.
Okay.
That's kind of what I've done for myself because that's kind of what shrooms do for you.
Yeah.
It like lays out your entire, like if you do it in the right set and setting, you do it correctly with the right people, with the right knowledge in your head. It takes a lot of shit. It's not like a silver bullet. Because the first time I ever did it, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it took like 2 weeks of doing it straight just to fucking even, like I didn't, my brain was so solidified in science and like how we operate in our society that I did not believe that that state of mind even existed. So I did it for 2 weeks straight because I'm like, there's no fucking, I came back down, I'm like, there's no fucking way that happened.
Yeah.
And then I do it again, take me right back to the same energy. Yeah. But what I think is, what I've kind of done is I've looked into science, I've looked into religion. I try not, that's why I said right or wrong, I try not to put myself in any box because there's science is even like, carbon dating, all that shit, it's kind of just guesswork.
Right.
Like, it's our best guess. We got scientific instruments and stuff, but it's like, who the fuck knows what happened? It's history. We don't know. And science can prove a lot, like with physics and all that shit, but then there's things it can't prove, like near-death experiences, and there's psychedelic experiences are another example. Yeah. Or dreams. What the fuck's a dream?
No shit.
So
tried to figure that out.
I think, and at first I was hardcore science because there was no proof for religion or religious texts or what was in there, right? Yep. Like if you look at it physically, just the pure physical level, there's like it's all nonsense. But then I started reading Graham Hancock's books because I found them on Joe Rogan's podcast, and him and Randall Carlson. Randall Carlson figured this out actually. He took acid one day, and he just looked at this giant ravine, and it's like the Grand Canyon almost. And he's looking at it, and he's like, "There's no fucking way this was a bunch of water, like one after another. It had to be one giant like water." And so he started studying it and taking pictures and doing drones, and then these two combined together because Graham Hancock had that ancient apocalypse theory and the ancient civilization theory that it got wiped out. And so these two combined together. Turns out through testing the soil at 12,000 years ago, there's this thing called tritonite or some shit. Yeah. It's nuclear glass, and it only comes from space when asteroids impact.
Collide.
So what they came to believe was that through the science and religion and ancient texts and all this shit, this was what made me believe in all of it together, was because he puts it beautifully in this book that an asteroid had come out of the fucking sky, either went into the sun and split off a bunch, or just came directly, and it hit the ice caps over North America when we were in the Great Ice Age. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what the Great Flood from all... It's not just the Bible. Every single religious text from that time has a story about a Great Flood happening. And the Native Americans have one where it's like all the animals and all the men and women went up on top of the mountain to survive and shit like that. Yeah. But it's just stories. Because it like... I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but...
Oh, you're good. I get what you're saying.
Basically what I'm saying is before we had the ability to record or write things down, you and I would just be sitting here talking, and I'd be like, hey, I just saw this fucking guy. It looked like he was flying or something. I don't know what the fuck was going on. He was fucking... And then you believe this guy was flying through the air. And then you write that down and fucking...
The stories fucking...
It's like a game of telephone.
No, I know what you mean.
My main point was that we should. I think those debates are probably good in school, and we should combine it together. Put some religion in there. Teach us religion. Teach us science. But the education system doesn't do a good enough job at teaching us regular things anyway. So,
do you think because obviously there's like Newman Catholic and those Catholic or Christian even influenced schools. Do you think those go over the top and forget the science, or is it? Do you think they add some of it in there? I guess I don't know.
I don't know either. But what I do know from religion, like the hardcore religious people, because my dad, he was friends. Well, I don't know if they're really friends, but they know each other for a long time. And this guy's hardcore Christian. Like, he doesn't believe anything. He's strictly the Bible. He believes the earth is a few thousand years old. He believes that the earth was created in 7 days. He believes... That's what they believe. Yeah. Like... Hold on.
No, it's all. I'm familiar with Genesis.
Are you?
So
Yeah. So that's what they believe, is that all this shit was just, first there was this, then there was that, then there was that, and God created everything.
Yep.
The way I like to look at it, and Joe Rogan says this a lot, is that the universe is God. I felt that on shrooms because everything feels alive.
Yeah.
Like, if I look at you and look into your eyes, I can tell you're alive, right? And I can feel something from you that's telling me you're alive.
Right.
Even like, okay, were you at Alan's funeral?
Yeah.
And you looked at his body, and you could tell, even when they make up him up and they try to make him look like he's just sleeping, but something in you is that's not there. And Alan's not here no more.
Yeah.
And you can feel that with everything.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're on shrooms, you can feel that with everything. Mm-hmm. It's insane. And I don't know what we were talking about, but yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean. Like, so I would, after this, if you want, we can watch the Sean Ryan podcast. He did one.
Oh, I watched most of that.
He did one with an exorcist recently.
Oh, he does his own podcast.
Yeah. So not the Joe Rogan one. He does his own podcast.
Okay.
He does a lot of like military, ex-military interviews and whatnot about their stories and what they went through. Mm-hmm. But just posted one with an exorcist. Exorcism is about the only fucking way that I can explain spirits, external power, and whatnot, and it makes sense. And like for him, so this guy, he was a bishop at one point and had possession of the original cross somehow that Jesus was on. Don't know how the fuck he got it. But
how did they know that it was the original one?
I don't know. And see, that's the thing that makes you question it all. Mm-hmm. And then he said he has a stone from the cave of St. Michael where, like back then, there was a guy who came in to a very open cave and St. Michael was standing on this stone and told this priest to build a church here. Mm-hmm. Like, this will be my church. You will praise it as the Cave of St. Michael's Church. And
you mind if I eat your vape?
Yeah, go for it. No, you're good.
I'm still listening.
And this will be my temple of, like, this is where you'll practice religion and teach religion to the folks around. And as he vanished, there was a footprint on this stone. Supposedly, this stone got passed around over the millennia, and now this exorcist has possession of said stone. So he was talking about this exorcism that he did and brought the original cross. Like, this is just stuff that he carries with him when he does this. He brings the original, like, shred of a cross that Jesus was on, the stone of St. Michael, holy water, Kimbrode, I think is what it's called, the cross on a, like, pearl chain or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's just what he brings with. And he wasn't able to explain, like, it was just he got it from this guy who was a bishop. And
did he have all the items with him then?
Not with him. He had two of them. He had two of them with him. So he had the Cambrode and the holy water with him, but that was it.
Okay.
He didn't have the stone or the shard. But it was just weird listening to, because, like, I've seen exorcisms. I don't know if they're true or not, but like on film, YouTube, and XYZ of bishops and nuns and whatnot being in those situations, doing those real exorcisms as they proclaim them to be real, whether or not they actually are. I don't understand how you could act that type of shit. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff that happens, I don't understand. Like, without a high level of CGI and acting and fucking, you really have to fit that type of role to be able to throw your body around type of shit. That makes the spirit realm, whatever you want to call it, seem existent.
Yeah, I completely agree. See, and that's what I was going to say, is there's video editing, there's all this stuff out there that could trick us. But I do believe that there's something, because even if you just look at it on a scientific level, atoms are 99% empty space. That's what everything is. So that means everything is just empty space. What the fuck are we looking at? And that means that our senses are just picking up information somehow and turning it into this table, this beer, this hat. Somehow our senses are perceiving this information, whatever the information is, probably some energy.
Right. Into
these things that we see and perceive. And like I like to use the example of like a radio or a TV set, which Joe Rogan uses it a lot too. But like if you break the TV, then the TV channels, you can still watch it on another TV, but you can't watch it on that TV because it doesn't work anymore. Mm-hmm. That's what I think. I think that because if you, people talk about like houses being haunted or like energy being trapped in places, I feel like energy just gets trapped somewhere. And like I don't like if energy has the ability to turn us into this physical thing to where I have a heart beating, and somehow if this heart stops, then my body stops existing. Like we talk about these things and it's normalized now, like death and all this stuff, but it really doesn't make sense. Like if this is all just 99% empty space and somehow I have these organs, and that's the thing with the body too and the mind. I like to look at the mind as a completely different, I like to look at the mind as something completely different from me, myself. Like, you have the soul, and then you have the mind, and then you have the body. And the body and the mind hold its own intelligence, as does the soul. And when you lock all those in together, you get the maximum intelligence and openness and, like, creativity, I think. But, like, the mind, how often are you controlling? No, you're good. How often are you controlling it? Like, how often are you like putting the thoughts in there? Yeah, you do it sometimes, but a lot of the times thoughts are just coming in. You don't really know what the fuck. Some of them you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. Why did that come in here?
Right, the intrusive or however they.
We don't really control it. It just thinks by itself, right?
Where do you think? I guess I don't know either. Like, where is that? Just a part of the brain with some people that sticks out more than the average person, or is it everybody thinks like, oh, I could shoot this motherfucker and it'd be fine. Like
I think everybody has that. The
weird intrusive thoughts of stuff outside the normal.
Oh, that's your pop. I was like, what's that? No. I think that, listen, brother, you know I was a fucking weird ass kid, and I didn't care about motherfuckers, but I thought I was weird. See, that's the thing. I thought I was weird. Mm-hmm. But as I learned more and got more information, experience, and talked to more people, I start to realize I'm not as weird as I thought. Right. It's just like humans have these tendencies and these thoughts, and like we have weird things inside of us. And most people just walk around on the day and day. That's why most people are depressed, because that's what depress means. To depress is to push something down. So you're pushing down aspects of yourself, and that's making you feel like, oh, damn. Because you know you're not living as your full self. You know what I'm saying? It's like pushing a beach ball down, and you keep pushing it down in the water, and then eventually your arms get tired, and you're like, oh, and then it's like, whoa.
So the people, this is a big question. Do you think the people who post about it are legitimately depressed, or are they just looking for the, not attention, but attention and satisfaction that people care?
I think they are legitimately depressed, because I used to post about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't depressed for that long, and I'm really glad that I wasn't, to be honest, because there's people like Chance, like he's explained to me that he felt depression at a very young age, like 12, 13 years old. And you had too?
14, I think, is when I initially felt like shit.
Wow.
But I attempted, and fucking nothing happened.
What originally set me off into a depression was, I was like fucking, you know what? I didn't even know. I felt terrible, but I didn't know what it was because I thought those things were fake. I think I've told you that before. Yeah. So when I got with Maddie, or not even, it was before I got with her, I was just talking to her as a friend, you know what I'm saying? Opening up to her. I'm like, I just feel bad all the time. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, it just feels like I feel like shit all the time. And she's like, you're probably depressed. And I got mad at her. I'm like, I'm not fucking depressed. That's not even a real thing. But then over time and looking into depression, I'm like, holy shit, I am depressed. And what I was going to say about that was, fuck, I don't even know.
So kind of looking back at that time for me, it was kind of, I don't really understand why I felt that way. Like, I don't know if I was just immature and had a weak mindset.
I don't know. I don't think it's a weak mind at all. That's what they tell us, but...
See, I almost do, though.
Why is that?
In some aspects. Because, like, myself, it was just me. I was fighting with my dad. I fucking.
You know what?
Was bullied.
I'm sorry, you keep talking after I say this, but I agree. But you keep telling me what you're telling me.
Like, it was my own self beating myself up. Like, it wasn't like shit was bad in my life.
That's what a lot of people think, and that's why it's such a fucking problem, because there's people that have depression and they're looking around, and I listen to a lot of people, but like, I listen to a lot of this shit because I'm trying to figure my own shit out. But there's a lot of people who, like, they look around and they're like, I don't know why I feel this way. I have this nice house, I've got this family, I'm chilling, like, everything I need is fine, but I still feel like I'm fucking depressed. You know what I'm saying? And do you have something to say still?
No.
Okay.
Keep going.
I do agree with you that it is a weak mind. What I don't agree with, I have a book in there called How Successful People See the World, right? Okay. It's about growth mindsets and fixed mindsets. Fixed mindset, I think a lot of people have. It's the mindset that you come in here, you're born into this world, you have these certain genetics, this is all you get. You have to use this, and that's all you get. And then a growth mindset is somebody who believes every failure or every struggle, everything is basically every challenge is an opportunity for growth, right? You have this opportunity, this challenge is looking at you, and you can become a better person because of it.
Opportunities and whatnot. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yes. And that's what I was gonna say is I don't agree, because I don't like saying people have a weak mind for having depression and shit.
That's fair. But I get what you're saying in that aspect.
Yeah.
More of a fixed mindset is what those people. I get that.
That's why mushrooms and shit work, is because you are looking through this depression lens as if the depression is you. The depression's not you. Yeah. It's a part of you, and actually, from what I've learned, and this is why a lot of all spiritual teachings point to being in the present moment, is because it is a weak mind, essentially, because the mind needs time to survive. That's where anxiety and depression comes from. Anxiety's worrying about the future a lot. Depression's worrying about what happened and why can't I get back there, all that bullshit. Yep. And so when you're completely and utterly present, that's what Zen is, the art of Zen. It's being so utterly present that nothing bothers you. Fair. And that's how I felt for that week that I was telling you guys, that I'm like, I don't know what happened. I just was locked in, you know what I'm saying? I felt it for a week, and after that week I was depressed because I thought that I fucked up. But no, it's just really hard to hold on to, because the mind...
It's a heavy mindset. I get what you're saying.
Well, the mind's designed for problem solving. And the thing is, we have no problems now. There's no tigers, there's no fucking, we don't need to go and hunt for our food. We know where it's at. Yeah. Fucking, we go to work, we get our money. That's what most of life is. You fucking go to work, come home, care for the family, fucking, that's it. Right. That's why people are depressed, because our minds our minds need to do something.
You look at life at a minute, like, little activity level that you need to be doing X, Y, and Z all the time to be successful. You'll continuously push yourself down. Whereas if you look at life like, hey, I'm doing great. I've got a great job. I got a great family. Like, I need to continue what I'm doing. I'm doing fine. Then you'll continue to live on that growth mindset path. I get what you're saying there.
That's why weed and psychedelic, I think weed's a psychedelic, but that's why psychedelics are so beneficial, is because not only do they help you get into the present moment temporarily, but then you can look at your thoughts from a different perspective. And what was I gonna think? Come on, brain. Yeah, I don't remember. What did you say before?
Fuck.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
So, fixed mindset, growth mindset.
That's all we got.
I know, man.
No,
I hate getting so deep in thought because I just backtrack.
I remember. That's why they're so beneficial, is because, and that's why hanging around kids is so beneficial as well, and animals, because everything, when you take a psychedelic, it takes all the filters off your brain. And that's how kids and animals are as well. All the filters are off. They're just looking at shit how it is. That's why kids are like, that lady's fat. They're just calling shit how it is. Because you take all these filters off, and then you're like, damn, it's not as bad as I fucking thought it was. Especially when you take a high dose of mushrooms or acid or something. When you legitimately, like, it doesn't even have to be a high dose, bro. I haven't told anybody this or said this before, but I used to fucking not want to talk about psychedelics and shit on the pod because I would get scared, but fuck it. So I did psychedelics for I don't even remember how many times I've done them, dude. It's been that many times. But I never had any visuals, not off acid, not off shrooms until recently. Like a few months ago when I took a gram, bro. I've taken a zip. I've taken a whole ounce of mushrooms. All it did was, it's because I'm going to tell this story real quick, but I was buying from this guy. He wouldn't give me an ounce because he thought that I would, because I told him I was going to take 10 because I wanted to feel a lot. Yeah. And I wanted to feel what a high dose was like. And I knew I'd be fine off 10. And he wouldn't do it because he thought I was going to go into a psychosis or something. He was worried about that. And he didn't want to go back to prison. And so I'm like, God damn. So I had to give this man a 15-minute lecture, basically, with Adam to fucking get this guy to give me the fucking things. Yeah. And then after I got him, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this guy. And my ego started to take over. This is why. Yeah, you don't fucking let your ego take over with psychedelics. And then I started pouring, because I was making a smoothie anyway, because I didn't want to eat 10 grams. Yeah. So I was making a smoothie, I'm like, and I poured half the bag in there of 2 ounces in there. And then I fucking drank it. And it suppressed my prefrontal cortex down to the point where I was literally like a 3-year-old all day. Like, I couldn't. I thought I was Einstein at one point, dude, because I was sitting there. I felt like my hair was standing up like Einstein's. My sock was like halfway off, bro. I'm like, oh shit, I must be Einstein. I thought, you know what? I think I almost went into a fucking break, dude. Really? I think it's a mindset because those breaks they talk about. Yeah. I think it's that you get, because the drug always wears off. Mm-hmm. It's 6 hours, 12 hours, however long it lasts. It's going to wear off. It's going to be gone. Mm-hmm. But you convince yourself you're stuck in that fucking mindset. And I almost did that. So I'm like, holy shit. I thought mushrooms were bad, dude. Really? And I kept looking at Maddie, and I'm like, are mushrooms bad, dude? Are mushrooms bad? Are mushrooms bad? I was on them because I was like, did we fuck up? Like, are we stupid? Like, what was I doing? And she was crying because she had told me not to take the zip, dude. Because she knew it was going to be fucked up. Yeah. And I didn't listen to her and ended up doing it. And she was crying, so I kept worrying about that she was crying because I was going to be stuck like that forever. So but no, she was just crying because I was a fucking piece of shit. And I didn't listen to her. But then I took a gram here, bro. And out there, I took some bong rips one day, and it started to scare me a little bit, and I told Chance I was getting scared because it started to make me feel like the onset of that trip. But when I took a gram, like, I was laying on this couch, my eyes were closed, and I don't even know how to explain it. It was like a fucking crazy, it felt like I was dead. When I was laying there, I thought I was fucking dying. Damn. And I was fighting my brain. That's where a bad trip comes from. Yeah. So you feel like you're fucking dying and you start fighting it. Yep. Then I was like, fuck it. I guess if I'm dying, I'm dying. And I gave into it. Mm-hmm. And that's when all the visuals start and shit. And it starts to get nuts. But then all I was worried about, I was like, if this shit ends, I want to love the people I love more. Yeah. I want to go see my dad. I want to see Chance. I want to see my family. I want to see all my friends. And I care about this fucking podcast. That's all that was on my mind after I fucking... And then I came down and I looked at Chance and I was like, bro, that was probably the most intense trip I've ever had. And he's like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you weren't even saying anything. I was like, yeah. I was just laying there taking it to the fucking face, dude. Because I grabbed my blanket. I fucking cover. That's what you got to do. If you're having a crazy trip, you grab a blanket and you lay on the fucking couch and you just lay in it, dude. It'll go away at some point. You just do that. Because that's every time I fucking was almost off the edge, I'm like, all right, blanket. You get comfortable and you just lay there because it's crazy, man. It feels like have you ever done it? No. It feels like everybody knows because your senses are so open that it feels like other people are reading your brain and reading your body and shit. Yeah, it's terrifying. It's terrifying if you're not in the right experience because you're so sensitive. You're like even to go and roll a blunt, I'm terrified because I got to go outside. The cops could be out there. Like shit could go down. That's why I hate that cops. I'm sorry for rambling. That's why I hate that it's illegal. Is not the fact that I don't really mind cops. They're not, like, worrying about me. But the fact that you take these substances and you're trying to have this amazing experience and you could genuinely learn and overcome some things if you do it. Yeah. But then you're terrified because you're like, oh, I could get arrested. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna see what we're at. We're probably over 40, to be honest. Yep.
Oh yeah.
You want to keep going, or you want to?
I'm done.
Bet.
Fuck yeah.
After it's done at 40, I just leave it there. We haven't even been looking over there. It's just kind of crazy.
It's been a good combo. Oh, shit. I feel like it's easier to talk one-on-one than it is, like, with three of us. Not that having chance is a bad thing at all. Like, I just mean general one-on-one conversations.
It's a completely... I don't know if it's better, but it's definitely a completely different conversation. With three people, the reason I like it, sometimes I'm not on, like, the highest energy level and shit.
That's fair. I
then,
get that.
Like, that one time when... I think it was after that week I felt like at peace, dude. I was depressed as shit, and you wanted to do a pod, and I sat here and I didn't say much, but you and Chance were talking back and forth. Because if this thing takes off, then that's money, dude. I don't even have to do anything. But I'm not even thinking about it from that perspective. I just think about it as, to me, it's like God's creating something through me.
Yeah,
because it has nothing to do with me anymore. Because, like, I fucking post it, we make it, and it's not even just me. I talk to you, or sometimes even when I do talk to myself, I post it, and then I have nothing to do with it anymore.
Right.
It's just there.
It's out there, yeah.
Yeah. Even if if it gets one view, I'm happy. I'm like, nice, one person saw it.
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck, dude. And the last few have been doing all right. Like, considering, like, I just see 8 views. I'm like, oh, that's decent.
Yeah, that's decent.
8 views in 2 days. Nice.
I mean, it's people watching it, which is always good.
I used to have YouTube Studio on my phone, which that's not good for you. Like, if you want to do something, like, creator-wise, like Twitch streaming or something, do not look at the analytics. Yeah. Like, I look at I like to look if there's one view, usually. That's what I'm concerned about. If there's one, then all right. But then I do check it, like, every morning. Yeah. Like, I check it religiously, I won't lie, just because I'm obsessed with this thing, man. I love it. I don't know why I love it so much. It's just like a baby. We're growing something. Yeah. It's almost 2 years old, dude. You were one of the first guests.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
2 years is nuts.
Yeah.
We're on what, episode 133?
Yes, sir. And the thing is, I look, like, there's this guy that, I don't know his name. I think it's Jacob fucking Jones. That's his name. Okay. Jacob fucking Jones. I found his videos one day on accident because I was just I like to scroll through my recommended because YouTube just throws a bunch of random ass shit like my brain, and I found this video. It's called, I think we've talked about it, smoking and drinking in a public park at 3 p.m. Bro, and this dude's still doing it. He's still fucking doing it, which I love it.
It's hilarious.
I fucking love it. He's getting thousands, tens of thousands of views.
Oh, it's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking awesome, dude. But then I look back on his channel, dude. He's been doing this shit for 3 years, reviewing cigarettes, and he just took off now. Right. That's what it is, dude. That's what you don't see with all these people.
One aspect. Yeah. One viral clip is
that's
all you
what people
need
want.
To fucking go
that's why everybody.
Change.
I'm sorry. I'm excited. Yeah. That's why everybody. I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why everybody wants to go to TikTok. Is because it's that one clip.
This is clips, man.
I'm not going there. You wanna? You're on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Listen, if you want to post clips from this shit on there, just whatever you want, I don't really give a shit, dude. You can do it. Oh, yeah. Whatever you make from there, you can make. Well, I don't give a fuck.
Shit, I don't. I think you have to have, like, 1,000 subscribers or some shit at least, or 10,000 to start the creator.
I want to expand to TikTok, but I've never downloaded it. Yeah. I'm trying. I don't know why. I'm just
stay away from that.
Yep. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I don't know why, but... Like,
it's interesting.
People have offered to, like, I've offered to pay people to fucking take my clips and put them on TikTok or put them on YouTube, like, shorts. They don't want to do it. So I'm like, fuck it. I just post random shorts on YouTube. You ever watch them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just post random shit. Because, bro, it's kind of nuts. If you look at the view counts on there.
Those are good. I mean...
They take off pretty fast.
It's like Facebook started doing the reels. Instagram's always had their reels. Once TikTok grew up as much as it did, like everybody pretty much started doing reels. It was YouTube reels.
You have to because to compete with TikTok.
Oh yeah.
Think about how many people are on there.
They went to court and shit like that. Like they had a whole ban shit.
You didn't see that, all right?
They had a whole they almost got banned type shit. Like it's fucking crazy.
It's just because it's a Chinese company, but guess what? Google, Meta, all these motherfuckers are fucking harvesting our information.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's free in this world.
Right.
People, that's another thing people our age have gotten accustomed to because of social media and shit. We think everything's free. We think everything we just deserve shit and need to be handed shit. But
Right.
nothing's free. Our information is the fucking product. We're the product.
Right.
Our information is what's being sold.
It was sold, yeah.
Or no, wait. How do I want to say that? I know you understand. I just want to say it right. Oh yeah, we're the product.
That's right.
We're just being we're just
Our
being sold.
information's being marginalized and everything else. Like our wisdom, our conversations, our skits, whatever the fuck, everything that's posted is all marginalized.
I assume that I don't know why, but since I was a kid, I've just felt like I was being watched my entire life. That's why I was so wild at school and didn't care either, because I just felt like I was being watched all the time. So I'm like, fuck it.
Like my life's a movie.
Exactly. I thought I was in my own movie, so I just fucking do whatever I do because I'm just gonna be me. Fuck it. But then I learned later on we are being watched all the time.
Oh shit.
By the government. I just didn't know that. Because it's a weird. Ooh. You ever feel like you're being watched?
Oh yeah. Especially in big places. You feel like people are staring at you. Or you walk into a building with a whole bunch of people and everybody just fucking stares at you and you're like,
you want to know what makes me feel better about like comparing myself to people and shit? Is I heard this thing that was like, most people, like if you like do something embarrassing or something, you're like, oh, who the fuck saw that? And you're like starting to worry about it and shit. Or you're we spend a lot of time thinking about like what other people think about us.
Opinions.
But think about, okay, so just that statement alone. We spend a lot of time thinking about what other people think about us. So they're not thinking about us.
Right.
They're thinking about what other people are thinking about them.
Yeah, exactly.
So why are we thinking about what the fuck they're thinking about us?
Yep.
It doesn't matter. Most people are thinking about themselves.
Is construed opinionation that will be the demise of conversation and opinion and everything. I mean, it's debate. It's impossible with everybody's opinions and the multitude of, like, you think this and I think this and somebody else thinks this.
Do you need this?
No, I just had
put my nasties in it.
Actually.
Oh. Fuck. I think that that's what America was supposed to be, is that, and they're trying to censor us now, but free speech is that idea, is that everybody gets to say what they want, because the bad ideas get weeded out. Like, there's the flat earth theory, but nobody's fucking... My dad almost convinced me one day.
Really?
Yeah, because he's like, I see a lot of... I'm like, Dad, do not try to convince me. But, yeah, there's a lot of shit that we see.
Shit.
I think that's why a lot of people are confused, too, because even I sit here and I'm like, what the fuck's true and what's
Imagine if
not?
the earth was flat. Like, what's underneath?
That's true. Just rock or something.
Space? Like, you just dig down far enough and hit space?
That's a good point.
Like...
Then the fucking hole to China doesn't work. I don't want to believe the fucking Earth's flat because I don't want to dig a hole to China.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck
if you
it.
dug farther enough, I mean, supposedly,
I've watched a video on that.
center of the Earth and everything like that. The movie.
That movie's pretty fucking
Fucking good. Fuck yeah.
This is just gonna let you know on how the fuck my brain works. I've actually watched a video of if you could tunnel to China.
Yeah.
If you could make it through all the molten metal and shit and the pressure of the Earth, you could dig to China.
Yeah, exactly. And
it's
that's
badass.
just like, if the flat Earth theory is real, what is on the other side?
Yeah, China's none. Actually, maybe I want to believe that, because then China doesn't exist.
Yeah, or it's just way the fuck over there and everything is just flattened out.
That's a
so
good
like
point.
the whole China would still exist. Everything on the globe.
Nope, Blair, you convinced me China doesn't exist.
Everything would be flattened out, but like, what's on that bottom side? Is there just are we just a big ass island and water's just?
You ever
underneath?
seen pictures of like what it would look like?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, dude. The thing is that I forget how it works. I wish I was more well versed on this. I've looked into astronomy my whole life too, just because I like the stars and shit.
Yeah.
Just like, I think it was because of looking into where the fuck I came from that started it all, because I was black and everybody else was white. So I'm like, okay, where the hell did this come from? So looking back, like where humans come from, you start looking into everything because you find ancient Sumerians, they had knowledge of like the solar system, bro.
Yeah.
That we weren't supposed to have at the time. And that's why like ancient civilizations that were sophisticated, more sophisticated than us, make sense because if you look back into this, they have knowledge back then. Like there's a map of the world.
Okay.
From like it's called the Perry-Reese map.
Okay.
It's from like the 1800s or something, and it was before we were said to have discovered Antarctica. There's a fucking picture of Antarctica on this map.
Really?
There's cattle, there's fucking boats drawn near it. Because if you look at Pangea, like when all the continents were together, Antarctica started drifting downwards. But before it got down to those fucking subarctic levels, it was at the equator, like fucking South America.
So it's a warm climate.
Exactly. Where it would be good to fucking develop a civilization and shit. So all the shit we're like people say that is in Antarctica, there could be shit there because we don't know. It's covered in ice.
I was gonna say, how do you explain the videos and whatnot of like all the ice and stuff over there? Is it all real?
What do you mean by that? Like the ice melting, or?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually melting, but I don't think it's a bad thing because.
You think it will uncover anything?
Probably. Randall Carlson likes to say that. I think it was Randall Carlson. Somebody likes to say that we don't have to worry about global warming. We have to worry about global cooling. Because this is the warmest the climate's ever been.
Right.
But it's also the greenest it's ever been, like the Earth, because the CO2.
Mm-hmm.
Plants absorb CO2 and turn it to oxygen. So the more CO2, the greener and more vibrant the plants are going to be, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't have to really worry because all that's going to happen is the ice going to melt from Antarctica. All the ice, maybe. Even if all the ice melts. Let's say all the ice melts, okay? Then the sea levels are going to rise. We're going to have to go inland, right?
Yep.
Okay, fine. That's it. We're going to have to go inland.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, and we're going to have to figure out how to utilize resources and share them. But that's not that big of an issue because humans are good at moving, especially now with cars, planes. We can move anything now. If we have a global freeze event, dude, where everything's frozen again,
that's fair.
Food can't grow, like what the fuck? Nobody knows how to hunt anymore. What the fuck are we going to do?
Shit.
That's what me and my dad were talking about on Sunday, is that we think we're so far removed from animals and shit. Mm-hmm. Wait till we don't have food. We're going to turn barbaric real fucking fast.
I'm curious to see how some of those small towns got demolished from like Hurricane Helene and what's the other one? Hurricane
Torres, I don't know. Mexican names.
Yeah, another fucking.
I know.
Two of them in
I
a
know
row.
what you're saying. Yeah.
There
was two in a row.
Yeah.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. That was when I was in New York.
Hey Cyrus. Oh.
Yeah, Hurricane Milton. That's it.
Those two just happened in a row.
Yeah. So that was at the beginning of October.
Side note, sorry, that was still on my Google. The youngest author ever published is 4 years old.
Ew.
That's crazy.
Holy shit.
I looked it up because I'm like, can I write a book?
Yeah, no shit.
But what were you saying?
But so Hurricane Helene went through first, and that was like through Florida, North Carolina, everything like that. Demolished damn near a whole town, couple towns. And then
They're not getting government support either.
No,
I
FEMA,
saw the videos of FEMA trying to stop Elon and shit, trying to help.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't see videos. I like to
Numerous
scroll
people.
Twitter, and Elon posts a lot of shit about that.
Chris McFarlane also got stopped.
Who's
because he was a race car driver, or not race car driver. He builds cars and shit like that. Has a deal with a dealer or a drag dealership and whatnot. YouTube channel, shit like that. But he has his own helicopter, and he was flying around. He got stopped by a sheriff. And
In the air?
Not in the air, but like on the ground and whatnot, and was told to like go away. Like that they had it handled and whatnot.
Yeah.
I almost wonder if it was not necessarily planned.
When do we vote? Do you know?
November 5th or 7th, one of the two.
Really? That early?
It's in like a week and a half.
Oh, shit. Where do we vote at, dude? I want to vote.
Fuck. There should be a spot here at Forest City for you guys. There's one in Mason, too.
I'm gonna have to. Can you Google it, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to figure that out because I want to vote for Trump. But listen, if Trump doesn't win, here's the three scenarios in my head. Trump wins, doesn't do anything that he says he's going to do. I'm losing faith in democracy, or not democracy, but I'm losing faith in the system that we have right now. I'm losing faith in this machine of a system we have. Second option, he wins and he does something. I'm gonna regain faith in this system again, and I'll love America regardless. I'll love the idea of America regardless because that founding goddamn document's goddamn beautiful.
I want a relief.
Then the third option is Kamala wins, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do if that happens.
I don't know what's gonna happen if Kamala wins.
Here's the thing: I don't want to be like a schizo dude and like abandon America right off the rip, but
fuck.
If she lets this shit go on for another 4 years, we got a problem. Borders open, money's gone. We're not gonna have shit no more. This country's not gonna be a thing.
And she blames the current economy.
Alternative
on
idea.
Trump.
Sorry to interrupt you. Alternative idea. Shit hits the fan. Me, you, Chance, his girl, anybody we want and trust. We're going to a goddamn farm. If you're listening to this, we're gonna put all our money together. We're buying a goddamn farm when Kamala wins. We're going to fucking go and grow our own food, raise our own food. We're going to shoot people if they come and fuck with us. If they try to come and turn us into communists.
Cops, anything. Fucking the IRA, NRA.
They try to take our weed, we're not fucking doing it.
Grow our own shit. Fucking.
That's my dream, dude. Is to have a fucking ranch
battlegrounds.
Not that, goddamn. I don't want to battle anybody. But if we have to, dude, I'm not fucking.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
I'm not going down without a fight.
Fuck no.
They're not taking my freedom of speech.
Shit, no, you're good.
If I want to fucking say Joe Rogan's got fat titties, I'll say whatever the fuck I want to goddamn say when I say it. Even if it's wrong. But he does have some fat muscle titties. But my dream, bro, is that I want to know what your dream is after I say this. My dream, have a ranch somewhere. Listen, I don't know if I told you about this. There was one time, so I learned from Terrence McKenna. He's a dude that did a lot of mushrooms and shit.
Okay.
5 grams is a heroic dose, he considers. So that's like, if you want to feel all of mushrooms, you take 5 grams, okay? Yeah. So the first time I did this, I took some homegrown mushrooms, right? And the guy was warning me. He's like, don't take all of them at once. He's like, these are strong shit. And I'm like, and I fucking took all of them. And then for some reason, I still don't understand why I did this, dude. I tried to go to bed after taking 5 grams of mushroom. I'm like, I'm going to go lay down. And I was laying in my bed, bro. I literally started to feel like I started to float out of my body, dude. It was insane. And what's crazy about this one, that I remember a key moment, my dogs, I still lived at my dad's house at the time. I have 3 dogs, and they used to sleep up in the, there was this landing. You know what a landing is? Yeah. It's like this, basically a shitty-ass hallway, small hallway, to another room and a room. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't know but I don't know why I had to explain that. People that don't know what a landing, that's what a fucking landing is. But, so, my dogs used to sleep there when I slept upstairs, because they used to sleep with me. But, you ever sleep with a dog? Yeah. They get mud and hair and all kinds of fucking, you're just trying to sleep and you're rolling around. Yeah. So I fucking started closing my door and letting them sleep out there. Bro, when I started to feel like I had elevated out of my body, I heard them stand up.
Really?
And they started, like, walking. Like, I could hear their, you know how nails...
Stepping, yeah.
I could hear all 3 of them walking around, fucking moving around in that landing, bro, the entire time that I was on that trip.
Right.
The entire time. And
you couldn't sleep, of course.
No, but that was just so when I came down, they laid down. I heard them lay down. Really? When I felt like I re-entered, I don't know if this was the shrooms, like this could be the shroom, but when I felt like I re-entered my body is when they laid down.
Interesting.
But my main point about saying this was, through that trip, bro, I was staring outside without my glasses on all night, so I can't see shit already. Like, everything's blurry. I'm just thinking. I'm looking at the blurry-ass grass. I'm looking at the, like, blurry bushes, blurry trees. Yeah. And I just have this idea pop in my head. If you can get anything to grow out of the ground, every footstep you take is money. Mushrooms, food, medicine, clothes, metal. Fair. Everything comes out of the fucking ground. Yeah. Everything we need. So, think about this. You're growing your food, your clothes, your medicine, weed, whatever you want, you're growing all your shit. You got all this shit. What do you need money for? You don't need money anymore, Blair. You got everything you need. You got water, you got food, you got shelter, you got your clothes, you got everything. Everything else extra becomes profit. So you sell that stuff and that's money.
What about transportation and whatnot?
Well, obviously I have a vehicle, but you can make your own vehicle.
Yeah.
Make your own. I seen video, bro. I watch weird videos, but I seen a video of this African dude. Mm-hmm. He built a car out of scraps.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm gonna see if I can find a picture just because I want to show you. He built it out of scraps. African man build car.
What a search.
From scratch. See what we got. See what we got. I don't think I'll be able to find it. A lot of
Whoa.
I think a lot of Africans did it now, but basically, like, he couldn't afford a car and he wanted a car, so he built one. And that's what I'm saying. If you have enough knowledge and engineering ability, like, it's not really that hard. You're just putting a motor in, connecting it to whatever you got. You got axles. It's just a bunch of parts. It's not that hard. But even then, you can buy shit. Like, you could buy a car if you want a car.
Right.
But my main point is, what the fuck do we go to work for? We go to work for money, right? What do we need the money for? I see what you're doing. Try not to fuck it up. But what do we need the money for? We need it for clothes. We need it for food. We need it for medicine. We need it for all this shit, right?
Right.
So if we're growing all this shit that we're needing money for, that shit becomes money.
So, but if like looking at it from a supply and demand, if everybody has the supply, where's the demand?
That's why we have a pharmaceutical industry. And why we have... The thing is...
Well, I mean, I'm looking at it as like food.
Everybody can't do it. That's the thing. I want to do it, but that's why we need, like, as much as... Like, would you work at McDonald's your whole life?
I have worked at McDonald's.
But would you work there your entire life?
Fuck no.
Spend 80, 90 years at McDonald's? No.
Most of us own the place.
Some people might, and some people will. Okay, that's a bad example. Winnebago's a good example. Would you work at a factory for your whole life?
If you found a way to, like, grow within the company, yeah.
See, that's a good option. But some people might not want to. Like, right. I don't want to grow in a company for some reason. I want to make my own company. That's stuck in my head.
Well,
but
I feel like that comes with growing from the company because you get your experience of business management knowledge if you become a manager. The shift lead or factory lead, whatever positions there are there, like those develop you into being able, like, it depends on how receptive you are to that information.
I agree. I completely agree. I was going to disagree, but I agree. Now I'm thinking about it because for me, I think the best experience and knowledge I can gain is at the general production level because I like manual labor and I like using my body. I like throwing shit around. I like doing that shit. Yeah. But if you want to learn how to learn the papers, all that shit, then you got to move up and you got to learn how to do all that stuff.
Exactly.
To me, if I owned a company, I'd probably hire motherfuckers to do that. I'd have to have some motherfuckers I trust though, because I don't want to just. That's why I have you and Chance. You two are like the only motherfuckers I talk to consistently because people change. People morph into weird shit. Like if you ever have like a friend that, well, we had plenty of them in school, but you ever have somebody like move away and you stop talking to them for a long time?
Yeah,
then you try to talk to them again. It's like a completely different person.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or you're that person that moves away and you change yourself because you're around other people and you're looked at differently because of that.
Have you had that?
Oh, yeah. I used to live in Sheffield for years and was a completely different person there than what I am now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I want to hear about that in a second, but I got to piss. Headphones are yours. Let's see if Blair can bust his solo.
Let's see about this.
See what he talks about. Talk about anything, Blair.
Oh, jeez. You know. Oh, fuck. I don't do this. I don't just talk to myself. You know, I spent a good time listening to other people and trying to understand what they think and how they think. And really, it is a lot easier to just do your own fucking thing compared to listening to other opinion, other statue of oh, I've done this, this, and this, which makes me better than you because of X, Y, and Z. It is a lot easier just to look at your own self, look at the shit that you've accomplished, the shit that you have put your own effort into, and view yourself as your biggest accomplishment, because you are only as good as tomorrow. I could be great today, but wake up tomorrow as the shittiest fucking dickhead known to earth. If you can continuously find yourself in a state of, I'm only as good as I am today, you'll continuously put yourself in that forward setting.
God damn.
Shoo!
You ever pissed so hard you almost shit? Bro, I was thinking we could get a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
Set up this shit permanently in the living room.
Yeah.
And then, like, you could do solos, too.
It's
I
weird.
don't, like, I just leave it to, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
The first podcast I ever did was terrible, but it was, like, 25 minutes long.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a set time yet, because I was fucking, when I started doing this shit, bro, I was trying to teach people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was weird format, because the only solo podcast I'd ever watched was Andrew Huberman. You know who that is?
Yeah.
And he's like a teacher, so he teaches. He has all these information he's trying to teach. That's what I was trying to do for the longest time, and I was bad at it.
I feel like that's not a bad thing, though, when you're looking at solo ideas, like just trying to give information, general information out to people.
It is a good idea, but you should have bullet points of ideas.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to talk off the cuff,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you think you have, even if let's say you write a page of notes, right? You got this page of notes and you read this whole page, that's about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't got much longer than that.
Right.
Like, you know J.J. Wickman?
Yeah.
He's starting a podcast. You see that?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and he's only got 2 episodes out, and I'm not dogging on him for this, but he told me he was starting one, and I encourage him, and I still encourage him. Start a podcast, and I'm subscribed to it, and I listen to it. But he's got 1 8-minute, 1 5-minute episode out. It's a hard thing to do, and he's not consistent with it. And I'm not dogging on him for this, and I haven't talked to him about this in person, which I probably should. But that's the problem with these is
You have to be consistent.
That, and the reason I started a podcast, bro, is because most podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes.
Fair.
We're at 133.
Yeah.
After I made it past 3 and I talked to Chance on one, I'm like, oh, we can do this.
Right.
That's why I'm doing this shit. Is because I don't know what the fuck's going to come of it, but I think we could do it.
Right.
It's just like cracking a code. That's what it is in my brain. Because most people look at it as impossible. But if another human attained it, then why the fuck isn't it attainable to us? And that, through other YouTubers, and like I watch low-level YouTubers and high-level YouTubers, and watching them progress and like just listening to the low-level ones, like Caleb Hammer, for example, he does a lot of financial stuff. Yep. He talks about how he had a regular job while he was doing YouTube, and it's about making consistent, high-quality videos. Right. And that's all it is. It's consistent, high-quality stuff, because if you and I think a certain way, even if it's just you or me, like say it's one of us doing this, somebody out there has to share our perspective on something. So if we're just talking about a broad subject of things, somebody has to fucking agree, right?
Right. And going off of the consistency, you're only as successful as your own demise. So as long as you're consistently finding a way to post, finding a way to talk, finding a way to upload, conversate with people, there's no reason why we shouldn't successfully move forward.
See, and it's been 2 years, and I just got another motherfucker trying to get on.
Yeah.
It takes a long-ass time. Zach Martinez got on, but he doesn't want to get on consistently. And I completely understand it, because I'm surprised, actually, why do you come on? Like,
I just enjoy it. I enjoy talking with you guys. I feel like it's easy to conversate with people who have a similar mindset. And I don't have that many people like that in my life where I can talk like we do for hours on end and consistently come back with more conversations. Like, not just doing the one and being done. Like, I can consistently come back here and we can talk for an hour and a half or an hour. Yeah, exactly. We always have new shit to talk about. And that ease, those factors go into the easeability and the likability to wanting to do this type of shit with you. And I enjoy it.
I might have scared Zach off, to be honest.
Really?
I kind of interrogated him a little bit. Where do you work? No, but I completely agree.
I mean, I feel like the first podcast that we did, that's kind of how it was. Because, like, we haven't talked in a minute, or hadn't talked at that point in time in a while.
That one was kind of clunky, too, but we still had a good conversation.
Right.
Because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to talk to this guy about, but we still figured it out.
Relearning about each other, who we are now, like, where we've grown, and those likabilities, those interactions, and what the fuck is the word?
Connection?
Yeah, connection. Is where, like, we've grown to be able to do 15, almost 20 episodes together.
I didn't even think about
30
that 30
episodes.
Just came up.
Yeah.
We're on the same level, Blair.
We can connect very easily, and I very much enjoy that, because you can't conversate with somebody you don't connect with. At least for not as long. Fucking A. But shit, I mean, yeah, it's the easeability of talking and whatnot makes doing this fun and enjoyable.
I've never thought about this, but when you said that it's like relearning what like we've done shit, even like now we know each other and we have relearned. You come back a week or 2 weeks, and I'm like, hey, what have you been doing the last few weeks? It's fucking awesome.
It's catching up.
It's kind of why it's hard with Chance. It is kind of hard with Chance because we see each other every day, and it's like, oh, what the fuck do we have to talk about?
I can see that for sure.
But I don't know. I don't think he really likes it. I don't know how he feels about it, to be honest. I've never really asked him. But to me, like, watching him, it's like, I don't think he's never been, like, a public person.
Right.
I don't want to be a public person either, but, like, I don't really care what people think of me. And, like, I think he worries a little bit of, like, what people will think. Yeah, like, especially when it comes to his parents and stuff. He doesn't want them seeing it and stuff, and I completely understand.
Yeah, that definitely is a factor on some people where their image is, not saying for Chance, like, just people's in general image is a big part of how they interact in life and what they say and what they do. It all goes into effect of, like, I can only say so much on a podcast before what I say looks bad type of thing. You have to be able to find the openness and whatnot, especially on these type of platforms where we're not really restricted on what we say.
That's what's scary to most people, I think, is that we don't know what we're going to say. We could say some fucked up shit. Like, I fucking said I was sucked off by a tranny on here. You think I was proud of that? Fuck no.
Exactly.
But who the fuck cares? What are people going to do to me?
It's when you put in restriction.
Fuck, every time I think about that, I'm like, Jesus, what was I doing?
It's when you put in, like, the restriction and the suppression to what you're saying that it becomes overwhelming topic of, like, oh, can I actually say this without it being a bad thing type of thing.
Yeah, I completely understand. Do your parents watch these?
My mom has watched one, I think, but my coworkers have watched some before.
I wonder, just because, like, for my parents, my mom and dad have seen them, and, like, they don't stay consistent on them, and I don't really care if they do or not, but they don't judge me for doing it.
Right.
I think they're kind of proud just because they see that I want to do more than just sit around and do nothing.
Right.
But I completely understand that for a lot of people, like, that's why I don't ask people to come on. Because I do want to talk to anybody.
Yeah,
I'll talk to anybody, but
you're not going to pressure
anybody
them.
Can watch this. Like, the government can watch this. That's why I get scared about talking about psychedelics and all that shit, because I'm like, people are going to think I'm nuts, but fuck it.
Well, you're not gonna also pressure people into wanting
back on.
No, you're good. I'm just going to
I like them.
You're also not trying to pressure people into wanting to do something that they don't want to do. Coming on here and talking in a public setting where something's going to get posted, like, that's a lot for some people. Some people might not understand or want to be posted to that public setting where we don't necessarily get tens of millions of thousands of views, but there's people that watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's eyes and ears that see this shit, hear what we're talking
Doesn't matter
about.
if we're popular or not.
Yeah,
you don't want that
exactly.
shit out in the public.
There's still communication and observance as to what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not just posting it and nobody's seeing it type of thing.
See, that's a big thing for humans is just status and, people don't want to look bad in front of other people, and I completely understand it, but I don't. That's partly why I'm glad that I was the way I was, because I don't really give a fuck what anybody thinks. And I say that, and when people say that, a lot of people make the assumption that like, oh, these guys, he's just careless. He doesn't care. No. I do care what other people think. I just choose to fucking ignore the shitty feelings that come along with it, because I'm like, who the fuck? Like, I'll sit in it for sometimes, and I'm like, who the fuck cares? Sometimes, man, I'll get fucking petty and shit, and I want to post shit on Snapchat, be like, this motherfucker made me feel this way. But, like, and I'm not going to post it like that. It's usually in, like, a descriptive form, like, when motherfuckers do this, I'm just like, what the hell? But, like, I'm not going to do it just because, like, it's weird. It's weird.
Right.
I don't like, one thing that our generation likes to do that I fucking hate. I hate the social media fucking, I hate the talking about, like, we text other people about our problems and, like, tell everybody else about our problems, but we won't talk to the person directly that's causing the problem. You know
Open confliction type of thing.
That was terrible throw.
We're not open to confliction. It's
Confrontation?
A lot of people, yeah. Open confrontation. A lot of people are not willing to face their problems, but they're willing to walk around. They're willing to walk around and post about their problems to public eye to get the satisfaction of...
Because the person sees it, but they don't have to talk to them about it.
That, and they'll have people who will support them because they're posting it publicly. Like, oh yeah, this guy's a piece of shit, or this person's a piece of shit because they said X, Y, and Z to you.
Damn.
Then they have the support. They're like, oh yeah, these motherfuckers think you're just as big of a piece of shit. I don't need to fucking text you type of thing. Whereas if they would just confront the problem directly and forego the social media influence of, yeah, you're doing this right, or even on the negative to that, what the fuck are you doing? Like, I feel like there's very rare cases that it brings... People are saying like, oh, you're a piece of shit for saying this to this person. Mm-hmm. It's more so the support of like, yeah, fuck this guy type of thing. Mm-hmm. Or fuck, not necessarily guy, but just fuck this person.
Just fuck this person because it's not me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas if they would genuinely confront or conversate with their problems directly, you could forego all that and maybe come to some sort of conclusion or compromise in whatever the issue actually is, in whatever setting. Go.
I got 3 things.
Go for it.
Because I don't want to forget them now. All right, remember Town Hall and remember fuck. Shit. All right, I'll remember probably.
Town Hall. Okay.
So the first one I want to say is that what you were saying about you were saying that, like, we just want to dog on people and shit, you know what I'm saying? And we could have came to an agreement and stuff. Mm-hmm. Me and Chance had that experience the other day, literally. And I talked about it. I don't know if you've seen the podcast, but him and I were stressed at work. And he had done this. He was setting up this computer so that we could have a podcast computer and a gaming computer, right? And he was doing something nice. And I thought he was setting it up here, like how it is now. And so I just texted him, don't do that. I was like, don't set it up till I get there. We're going to disagree. And I wasn't trying to be rude or nothing. But then it started to slowly escalate because we were fucking both stressed. It was like, I could tell he was being stressful towards me. It wasn't like aggressive or nothing. Like, it was kind of a hint of aggression, I should say, I guess. But it's not like, oh, he's trying to fucking get on me. He's just fucking, like, he sounds fucked up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I called him, and it ended up being nothing because we were just both stressed. We heard the stress, and everything was fine. Mm-hmm. That's how a lot of things go because, like, me and you talking right now, I can see your eyes. I can see how your face looks.
Right.
I hear, like, if I go like, "Wow, that was nice," you hear that, but you can, if I text that
voice type
if I text that to you, you're not
you
seeing
don't
that
express
shit.
emotion through text. It's how you read it.
Yes,
100%.
Another thing I wanted to say was what popped into my head when you were saying that, like posting it and like everybody sees it and shit. It's kind of like the internet is like the town hall for the world. You know how like in like old movies and shit, you see everybody gathering and somebody makes a fucking speech to the whole town.
Of Salem, the game.
That's that's what it is.
Everybody combines together to vote on who the killer is,
and
who
that's,
the shit person is.
Yes, and that's what our stories and our Facebook profiles and shit are. Is just our turn to speak in the town hall. We're like, all right, guys, here's my paper, and nobody gives a fuck.
Or you've got, to add on to that, like on Facebook right now, the North Iowa Ran Rave, like you can post anonymously on there.
Really?
Nobody knows who the fuck you are. You can just shit talk anybody and anything.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you read
when
those.
When did that happen?
It's always been like that. Apparently.
Really?
Go ahead and read those sometime. Like, just read through the anonymous posts. They just shit talk the entire fucking time. Because they can do it without any backlash because nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Have you ever left a negative comment? Me neither. I don't know who the fuck has time for that shit.
A lot of people.
Even if I don't like something.
A lot of people apparently do.
Yeah, even if I don't like something, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Every little bit and tidbit and shit is a problem.
Yes. The fact that you're taking the time out of your motherfucking day to go down into this comment section from your video. The video is already probably like 20, 30, 40 minutes long.
Not even a comment section. They make their own post on the North Iowa Ran Rave. They'll make their own fucking blog about businesses, about people, about everything, about like the rallies and shit like that go along in town. Like the Pride rally, for instance, there was a whole bunch of posts about that.
I'd be on there too.
Yeah. But it's fucking, it's shit like that. People take time out of their day to post anonymously of all things. They can't even back it with their own name behind shit because they're afraid of the backlash. But they can post anonymously, and that's not an issue.
I watched a podcast. You watched Lex Friedman's podcast? I watched one with Jordan Peterson and him. Did you watch that one?
I have not yet.
Jordan Peterson made a point that he thinks there should be an anonymous section on Twitter and a profile section on Twitter.
Really?
So where you see the person's name, people who are willing to stick their neck, stick their title, like whatever they are, doctor, scientist, whatever the fuck they are.
Have some balls.
Exactly. Motherfuckers are willing to stick their neck out, go on the fucking name section. People who are pussies go on the goddamn anonymous section.
And it's split? So only that anonymous can read anonymous?
No, that way you can read anonymous if you want to. But you should be able to read the ones who actually want to put their name behind shit,
that's
too.
how the North Iowa Ran Rave page is. Is you can post anonymously or you can post with your name behind it. One of the two.
See, I think his idea was to section that off.
Yeah.
To where you can see that people who want to put their name by it. Because that's a completely different, like, just morally. Like, if you're going online anonymously versus you're willing to put your name, even if it's just for something stupid like reposting a dog video or something, that's a completely different person. I don't really trust a person that's like going on there, I'm going to go on there anonymously. What are you doing on there, motherfucker? The only reason I'm using incognito mode online is to fucking jerk off. So what the fuck's this guy doing on Facebook?
For like 30 seconds.
All right. Well, looks like it's just me. I looked at the watch a couple minutes ago because Cheese Nelson will be home here soon. Yes, sir. Cheese fucking Nelson, and I'm excited because the door is in the fucking frame, and he's gonna walk through. His white ass is gonna be seen on the camera, and I'm excited. And I don't know if we're gonna end it or he's gonna sit down. We'll see how he's feeling. We'll see how Cheese Nelson's feeling because he's probably had a long day at work. He probably wants to smoke, to be honest. We might be able to pause this, to be honest. We got to just see if we can convince him to just hop on for a second. Just a second. I won't even put his name on it. I'll just be like, hey, this is a Blair Sutcliffe podcast. If you watch long enough, there's goddamn Cheese Nelson. And that'd be pretty dope. I think that'd be pretty cool. You see his white pasty ass walk through the goddamn door. Goddamn Cheese Nelson. That motherfucker went to a Halloween party. I actually got this fucking picture that I want to show the camera because he sent it to me. He done fucked up. He's funny. This motherfucker. I gotta show this to the camera and then I'll show you, Blair.
Yep.
Look at that motherfucking teeth. No, he's doing a money spread. Look at that motherfucker.
Oh shit.
That's a wizard for the motherfucking Halloween party.
Fucking A. Oh shit. Yeah, cheese is probably about here, ain't he? Or is he off on the way?
I don't know. He's gonna be here soon. Do you want to end this thing?
We can keep going. I don't care.
We'll fucking keep going till motherfucking Cheese Nelson walks through the door and see if he wants to hop on. We could probably pause it and then get him on. I was thinking about I'm just gonna name it a Blair Pod. And
Hell
then
yeah.
fucking if he fucking
Special
shows
guest
up,
cheese.
yeah, he just bro, he's gonna look so white coming through the door because the light's gonna hit him and he's gonna be pasty as fuck, dude.
Oh shit. How's work been? You back on your normal scheduling shit?
Fuck no, we're working 4 hours, dude. Or 4
Really?
days, not 4 hours. 4 days.
Damn,
yeah.
4 hours is fucked.
Yeah, that would be terrible. 4 days a week, and we barely have enough to fucking hold on.
Really?
But I did find out that my supervisor and lead found my podcast.
Oh shit. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And
thing or bad thing?
It was a good thing. He told me he doesn't judge me for it. He thinks I'm doing a good thing. Well, he didn't really say that. He's just like, hey, I ain't judging you for it. I just basically told him I'm just trying to do more. You know what I'm saying? Because people, what I realized, Jesus. Like, if you look at all, like, the philosophers and shit, like, people in the ancient history and stuff, all the, like, people who founded our country, for example, these motherfuckers were in their teens and 20s, and the oldest one was George Washington. He was 40. You ever look into that?
Yeah.
It's insane. They were our age, the people who founded this fucking country. And all those motherfuckers were writing back then. They were doing all kinds of shit. They were fucking bow hunting. They were learning how to write music. They were doing all kinds of shit. Yeah. What does our generation do?
Shit.
We scroll our fucking phones all day, dude.
Yep.
I just looked at TikTok. I just look at Netflix. I just looked at this. And, like, I get it because I fucking spent hours scrolling Twitter. I love that shit. But same time, I want to learn other shit, learn actual skills. Like, that's why I tried writing. I'm trying to write a book because I just want to see what the fuck I can do. We're human. We have this ability to be creative. And if we put enough knowledge and experience in our head, we have the ability to fucking turn it into something amazing. But we don't utilize that ability. And
There's very few of us. Not
yeah. No,
who
you're good.
actually use that ability. To
all I was going to
think.
say was a lot of our generation, they want to fucking get rich. They want to be social media influencers. They want to do all this shit, but they're not willing to put in the effort.
Right.
Like this. 2 years of a fucking podcast. Who the hell's watching this still?
Exactly.
Nobody. But we keep doing it.
Exactly. It's the consistency that will one day pay off. It's whenever the day comes that becomes the deciding factor.
Bro, I think about... Can I hit that again? Thank you. Damn. I think about even if it doesn't make us money, bro, I just want...
I don't worry about that.
No. I think it's paid off already, to be honest. Because
it's been fun.
We've gotten good at it, and it's fun. It's a good... And let's say you moved to goddamn California and I moved to fucking New York. We're on separate sides of the goddamn United States.
Yeah.
Now we
Skype
come back
podcast
together.
type of shit,
We can always podcast.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of okay. This is gonna make sense now that I say this, but the way I always looked at weed, and the reason I hold weed to such a high value is because people who smoke, you can always do that with them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It doesn't matter how, like when we were talking about when somebody moves away and you barely know them anymore. Mm-hmm. Let's say you move away for fucking 20 years.
Yeah.
You're still probably going to be smoking weed, and I'm probably still going to be smoking weed. So guess what we could do together? We'll smoke weed, we'll talk, we'll fucking have a good time.
There's a lot of time in between there to have a fucking hella conversations.
Exactly. And then we have the podcast. We could do that too. It's shit we could do together. That's what I want to do. Like,
well, ideally, 20 years from now, this thing's blown up, and we're doing it more often than we currently are.
That's what I'm hoping for, is to get like actual people.
Yep.
Like, I'll get you on here if you like. What Joe Rogan does, which I thought was pretty cool, is when he gets pro wrestlers on, he'll get Tony Hinchcliffe on, because Tony Hinchcliffe is one of the biggest pro wrestler fans. So like, I don't know what you're a fan of, to be honest, but like UFC, military, anybody, I'll fucking just let you sit there, even if you don't want to talk, dude.
Oh fuck yeah, I would definitely. Did you ever see it was recent, the Tony Hinchcliffe Trump endorsement, where he said, or he was making jokes about Puerto Rico and shit like that being a shithole?
No, I haven't.
Oh, fuck.
Pull it up.
Yeah, let me show you this, dude. Shit had me fucking laugh.
It was Tony's jokes?
Yeah.
Tony is the fucking man, dude. He's good at it. I don't know if you noticed or not, but
people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It is absolutely wild times.
you might want to show me this after. We might get copyright, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know how that
Some
shit
Sky
works.
News, I guess, yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying.
He made a couple of pretty outlandish statements, but then he posted afterwards, and he's like, I'm a fucking comedian. Like, this is what I do.
That's the problem. They were trying to do that in 2022.
Yeah.
I realized one day, I think I was running. I think Joe Rogan saved my fucking life, dude, because... And if I realized that if I ever get the chance to meet this dude, like, I'm not going to make it all like, oh, look at Joe Rogan. I'm going to be like, hey, man, you saved my fucking life. I'm going to talk to him like a regular person, because he is. But I think he did, because during the pandemic, when I was looking at Google articles and shit, because I used to just read Google articles, because, like, they'd have science and history and all that shit. I'd be like, oh, that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And then they had Joe Rogan taking horse dewormer, and I'm like, what the fuck's this? And my dad told me it was wrong, and that's how I found his podcast. And that's when I found mushrooms. Before, I found mushrooms, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I found mushrooms before his podcast, dude. Came up with a lot of the theories I had before I started watching them.
Yeah.
But I thought I was insane. Like, for like 3 months, I thought I was fucking off my rocker, because I was in this world where I was like, nobody else is thinking the way I... Yeah. But then and it's psychedelics, too. Right. We had been taught, oh, these are going to make you lose your mind. I was like, fuck, I lost my mind, I guess. But I found Graham Hancock. He's been doing ayahuasca and shrooms and acid. Paul Stamets. Fucking all these motherfuckers been doing psychedelics since they were teenagers and shit. Aubrey Marcus, you ever heard about him?
Heard him.
Aubrey Marcus, I like to watch his podcast when I'm feeling like spiritually deprived sometimes, because... This motherfucker is like the most spiritual dude I've ever met. Like, I think his dad was like the founder of Fleshlight or something, to be honest. You got contacts in?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, but I don't even know how to describe his podcast, to be honest. But you should watch it. He's just like he's probably one of the most spiritual motherfuckers that isn't like a spiritual teacher I've ever fucking listened to. Like... He does ayahuasca retreats and stuff, and he's got this Arcadia. It's like a festival where people come and do psychedelics together and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But he's been doing them since he was 18, and he went on this ayahuasca retreat, and then he just went into this journey of spiritual, and like he's got this wife that's also spiritual, and their relationship together. That's kind of what I like to listen to him, because he talks about his relationship with his wife and shit, bro. It sounds fucking beautiful, dude.
So, going off of the ayahuasca retreat, I don't know if you're familiar with NFL at all. So the Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
not Andrew Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers went on an ayahuasca retreat and has started seeing the Hat Man.
What?
Yes.
You started seeing the Hat Man?
Yes. Are you familiar with that at all?
No.
So, backdated story. Like, the Hat Man is supposedly this entity in the spirit side of things that, like, just watches you. Sleep paralysis and shit like that comes from it. And it's just this guy.
It's one of those sleep paralysis demons.
It's a hat and a trench coat, and he just watches you. Well, right after Aaron Rodgers' retreat, he came back saying that he was seeing the Hat Man. And during games and shit like that, during the preseason, he was seeing the Hat Man. And it was like this big thing, and now there's nothing on it. Like, that's insane. Nobody talks about it anymore. Like, for him, and it's confusing as fuck how he just... But
do you know much about ayahuasca?
Not a whole lot, no.
Do you know how it's made?
No.
You get me excited, Blair. I love psychedelics, man. I've looked into a lot of them. There's hundreds, I don't remember how many. There's hundreds of them, though. Hundreds of psychedelics. Like, there's a psychedelic in Tibet that bees take pollen from a flower, and the flower is psychedelic, and then when they make their honey, that honey becomes psychedelic. So it's psychedelic honey, yeah.
The pollen moves back and really.
Yep. They call it mad honey, but ayahuasca.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard of that.
Yes. Ayahuasca.
That was on the Rogan podcast.
Sorry, it's insane.
No, you're good.
It's insane because you know how big the Amazon is, right?
Yeah.
Ayahuasca is 2 plants from the Amazon, okay?
Okay.
One is a MHO inhibitor, which means, so every single plant has DMT in it.
Yeah.
Peas plants, banana plants, all of those plants that we eat and love have DMT in it.
Yeah.
The psychedelic.
Yep.
And that's what's produced when we dream. That's what's produced in near-death experiences. When we die, DMT is released. All these plants have it. The reason that we don't trip out every time we eat is because of MHO inhibitors in our stomach that turn that DMT off, and then we just eat the food, right?
Right.
So this one plant, they're on 2 opposite sides of the jungle, mind you. These 2 plants.
Okay.
One turns that off to where it turns that MHO inhibitor off. One is full of DMT. They mix these two plants together. That's what ayahuasca is.
A cocktail.
And it's like a 24-hour experience where you're throwing up, you're shitting, like your body is purging, dude. And you just have this experience. Your entire life unravels, basically, in this experience. Like, I don't know if it's like ibogaine, but ibogaine is another
It's just the fan, yeah.
Turn off, bitch. There. All right. Have you heard of ibogaine?
Kind of. Not really familiar with it, no.
Ibogaine is this, I think it's the strongest psychedelic ever.
Okay.
That we know of, I should say. But it's really popular in South America, and it's said to be, I don't know if ayahuasca is a 24-hour experience. I think it's a 12-hour experience.
12 to 18, probably.
Yes. But ibogaine is a 24-hour experience.
Really?
I think that's what I mixed it up with, yes. Ibogaine is for sure 24 hours. And your entire life unfolds, and the reports say you see your entire life unfold, basically.
Interesting.
And a lot of people go down to South America. A lot of veterans have gone down. A lot of fucking addicts have gone down to use it to quit addiction and get rid of PTSD, because you do this experience one time. It's not a psychedelic you could even... Like shrooms, I have an addictive personality.
Nothing that you could microdose or consistently dose.
That's what I'm saying is I almost got addicted to shrooms, and I think I definitely could. I think that's why, like, I always put it up to a higher power, but I think that God keeps shrooms away from me to a certain extent, because I do them all the time if I could, dude. Yeah. Because, like, sometimes I just can't find them, and I've accepted that, they'll come to me when I'm ready, okay? But I think that I would do them all the time. But you can't do this all the time because it's a 24-hour experience, and
fucks with you.
Yeah, but people use it to quit heroin, dude. Really? Use it to quit cigarettes, alcohol, any addiction.
Like hypnotism type of stuff.
No, it just breaks addiction, dude. Because what it does is, I'm sorry, I got excited and remembered why. What it does is it shows you your root of the addiction. Why are you addicted to this? Probably the toilet. Why are you addicted to this substance? It shows you, because it shows you your entire life. Like, I don't know how it is, obviously. So my idea of it would be like, you're a kid and like you see your parents smoking or something, and like I don't even know, dude. I'm just talking on my ass. Yeah, no. I've never had ayahuasca or ibogaine. Would you try ayahuasca?
I mean, I'd be curious. Like, just.
I'm not putting you on the spot, but yes or no. Just your full answer right now, as of right now.
I'd be very curious to re-experience.
I just want to
everything.
I'm going to tell you why I'm asking this right now, Blair. But if I gave it to you, would you take it?
I'd probably try it. Yeah.
That's kind of nuts.
Really?
Because what I've heard before is once you've started the path Like, once you've decided you're going to take it, and
Yeah.
I don't know if this is you deciding you're going to take it, but I've decided I'm going to take it at some point in my life. But I've heard once you decide you're going to take it at some point in their life, that's when you start the path of ayahuasca.
So I
Because
feel
you have
like
to,
me personally, I would have to try shrooms first to experience.
Have you done acid?
I've only ever smoked weed.
that's a good one to start with. Shrooms is the next one,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. So-
acid's probably the next one after that.
Yeah, so I've always thought about it. I've always wanted to do shrooms and whatnot, but like I've never had that group of people that I felt comfortable enough to do shrooms with. Now you and Chance, I probably would.
If I find them, we could do them.
Yeah, I mean, let me know. But I have never done anything outside of just weed.
What I want to say is I've never charged anybody for mushrooms.
Yeah.
I've given people mushrooms before, but I've never charged anybody because the experience of them far
Is
outweighs
worth,
money to
yeah.
me. Yeah. There was one time, bro, and I'm sorry if I interrupted you or something, but for sure we'll do them at some point. And I don't want to, like, I think I could be a good trip partner, but I don't want to look at myself as a shaman or nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't want you to look at me as that either. Because, like, I've tried to look at myself as that before. Because I don't know if I've ever said this, but when me and Maddie first started doing shrooms, bro, she tried to convince me we were prophets. Like,
Really?
because we just discovered this. There was nothing.
We've been going, buddy.
Oh, damn, alright.
Hour and 41 in.
I'll catch up.
You don't have to get on if you don't want to.
I can try.
No. We were going to pause it. You want to go smoke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be careful of the cord. Don't touch you.
Got you. Just
Thank
pause.
you, brother.
Just pause, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it really
We're fucking rolling. I need to bring that back to my dad's. We gotta change the camera thing.
Nice, plus your what?
One,
Oh, we are going.
2. There, now everybody can be heard.
No!
As long as Blair doesn't fuck up the goddamn. Whoa! Blair, do you find yourself on all fours very often?
You know, never actually, except for right then and there.
We're in 4-wheel drive, buddy.
Yep, sometimes you gotta put the Crocs in sport mode. That's what they.
She's
that's what they say.
motherfucking Nielsen.
He's back.
Hello. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey, it's back.
It's great. Yes, great.
Was it new clutch then?
New slave cylinder and brake solenoid.
Damn, everything went out on that motherfucker.
You talking about your Jeep?
My golf.
Oh. I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Jeep
How
was
the hell
a-
are you talking about cars already, god damn it?
Golf
I
is a
saw
car.
car keys. He had a loaner last time.
Keys? I didn't even.
Keys?
I saw them, but I didn't know what the fuck they were.
Well, I have the same key. That's the problem.
The V-Dub?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So?
It's running. It's probably gonna keep running. I just hate I hate that that's what happens when they break. Is everything fucking breaks on them. You need instead of just being like a wheel bearing.
Can I ask you a question?
No.
My dad told me about this, and I immediately disregarded it, but I want to ask you. He told me that if you want the best, I don't know why I'm talking like this.
Your dad is Slovakian, so he naturally has southern accent.
He told me that if you want the best AC, what is it? All you got to do is ask, my friend. My dad told me if you want the best AC, you get a Volkswagen.
The AC is pretty fucking sweet.
He said that you can see
Mine
frost.
still works.
He said you can
heat's
see
great,
frost
too.
if it gets cold enough.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's pretty sweet.
Heat's great too.
The heat is fucking.
Heated seats
if
are
you
great.
Blast defrost, it fucking defrosts your windshield in like
Oh,
a
yeah.
minute.
Oh, yeah.
But he told me that, and I'm like, Volkswagen? Yeah, maybe the AC.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, thank God, the fucking my AC still works.
Just because it
That's
ain't an
awesome.
Audi.
It runs like shit, but the AC will work.
Just because it ain't an Audi don't mean it ain't good.
No, the Audis are also terrible.
What's the best car? Oh, Corvette.
Yeah, Corvette.
Do they have problems?
Yes.
Oh my God! What do you
All
want
cars
it for
have
then?
Porsche
The LS
911.
Porsche is pretty good. That's expensive. You got
All
problems.
cars have problems.
They all have problems, but like the
But I
Corvette.
don't want a car.
If you
I
get
want-
if you get 2000, I think the 06 C06 is the lightest year, and but yeah, the problem with that. So certain Corvettes come with the LS3. Some of them come with the LS7. They come with like different engines, but the LS3 is like the god engine. That's the one you kind of want. But the LS7 is bigger. It's nice, but it has lifter failures. So you have to like beef up the lifters from the get-go if you want to make power with it. So you have to like work on shit. You have to know common problems and beat them before it happens for them to be.
I don't mean
with Volkswagens, it's just like, what's the next problem? There's no way you could learn about a common problem.
Them fuckers like a Civic. They can run.
That's true.
Forever.
They are like the German Civic, but it's rare to have a good German Civic tuner or like worker around here.
Yeah. You know.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you look sleep deprived, my friend. You got bags under your eyes, man.
I'm tired as fuck. I was up last night. Tummy hurting.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, you need to sleep.
Tummy hurting. No.
Let's end this thing. Yeah. Chance needs to sleep.
Almost the 2 hour mark.
We need to cook some dinner, too, yeah.
Good night, folks.
All right. I love you guys. Bye.